This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat in Marv's Plumbing and Heating. 1515 Logan Avenue is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome once again to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by a great group of folks. Couldn't get the program underway, couldn't do the program without them each and every day. Lincoln Way Liquor at 2825 East Lincoln Way. So again, even though the ball game's on right now, you still want to grab a cold one for the ride home. Pop it open when you get home because it's been a warm one today. Lincoln Way Liquor at 2825 East Lincoln Way. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. We know them for their plumbing greatness. Now have them come on by and take care of your air conditioning woes as well. 1515 Logan Avenue, the home of Marv's Plumbing and Heating. The Wyoming Montana Safety Council, easy to get a hold of Tim Woodard at 635-4592. Mondello's Pizzeria, easy to get a hold of Joe and Caesar and the whole gang there. You just go to 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons and enjoy delicious Paisan cuisine. First Tier Bank directly across the street where you can find some fantastic CD rates right now offered by Tim and the great staff. 1508 Stillwater Avenue for First Tier Bank. The key people of Cheyenne, Rachel, and her crew will come on by and clean it so you don't have to. Rachel doesn't clean it. She's just the point person. Give her a call, 414-0074. Then she'll execute her crew to head on over there and take care of all the cleaning duties. Lennox Auto Body with 2 locations, the main repair center, Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. First and foremost, see Gene and the great staff over on Bluegrass Circle, right next door to Texas Roadhouse. 5 days a week, you can head on over to Platte Valley Bank and do your banking because customer service is a thing they take a lot of pride in. So check out Rick and his great staff over at the original location on Vanda High and, of course, over at the corner of College and Pershing, Platte Valley Bank ×2 here in Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, ready to take a test drive in one of the new Kia products? Well, you definitely want to go over to Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Let AJ and Greg and the entire staff of Kia take care of your driving needs today. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, right across from Menards, offering delicious chicken sandwiches every day, Monday through Saturday. And chicken sandwich, how about a chicken biscuit for breakfast? Or their hash brown scramble bowl. Yes, they offer breakfast 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday with 2 convenient drive-thrus. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your home for Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. Taco John's, home of loaded potato olays. 6-pack and a pound. Taco Tuesdays, and now the sirloin steak burrito for your taste buds. Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we get the program underway with our scoreboard, which is being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. First we go to Nick.
Local side for baseball, we'll start with a few finals. We'll start with the Cheyenne Mustangs. They're in action down in Brighton, Colorado, taking at least participating in the 4th of July Woodbat Shootout right now. Game 1 of the doubleheader today was against the Loveland Aces. They won 10-0, and right now currently they are taking on the Slammers. They are leading bottom of the 3rd, 8-1 against the Slammers. So right now for the Cheyenne Mustangs, looking like they're going to win again, but they are 36-2 overall. Let's go over to the softball side with the Cheyenne Extreme. They were in action down in Denver, Colorado. They have a doubleheader as well. They are taking on they took on the Texas Bombers out of Fort Worth, Texas. They lost 6-5, so they moved 25-14-1 overall. They will have a game upcoming later today against Alaska Arctic Heat. So looking forward to that as they are right now competing in the Sparkler tournament. And then for Cheyenne Post 6 earlier today, they took on the Parker Lightning down in Denver, Colorado as well. They won 4-1, and later on today at least around 6 o'clock, they will take on the Colorado Aces. So right now, as it stands, the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers are 34-10-0. Also to college action, at least for the World Series, it will be game number 3 as game number 2 ended in, I don't even know how to explain that one.
Exciting fashion.
You had 2 outs. It was a foul ball, 3 players around it, and you couldn't catch it. Arkansas. Anyway, so Oregon State pulls off the miraculous upset, come from behind win, and right now it is winner take all tonight. Game 3 between Arkansas and Oregon State on ESPN2. That game will get underway at 4:30 tonight.
You know as well as I do, Nick, how many times does an error or a situation like that, a new life, come back to bite you?
Again, you had 3 players, 2 outs. It was bottom of the ninth, and you can't catch it. Again, go figure. Your one missed foul ball that would have been an easy out no matter what, and it cost you the entire
game. That was also in no man's land.
It wasn't a situation, again, it was that last out. That would have won them the game. Right. They would have been national champions.
I understand that. It was in no man's land. The second baseman overran.
It wasn't that hard either. Again, it wasn't like they were diving for that.
Well, the second baseman came a long way.
You had 3 players that were looking at it.
Yeah, I understand. It just
and it fell in between all 3 of them.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Major League Baseball scoreboard. Something I told Nick was going to happen. They've scored a total of 6 runs in the first 2 games of the series. And I said today they're going to light it up, and they are. The Giants and the Rockies right now at AT&T. It is not a pitcher's duel for sure. 5-5 as they move to the top of the 5th inning. 2 outs now in the top of the 5th for the Rocks. Elsewhere, Cubs leading the Dodgers 4-3. That is now into the top of the 7th inning. M's and the Orioles at Camden Yards, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. They are tied 2-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Bottom of the 9th, it's the Twins leading the White Sox as they are playing in Chicago. Games that are final already. Diamondbacks have shut out the Marlins 4-0. How about the Athletics? A sweep over the Motor City Kitties of Detroit, a 4-game sweep for Oakland, who now improved to 44-38 in that tough Western Division. 4-2 winners over the Tigers. Games getting underway when we leave. Angels at the Red Sox, Nats at the Phillies. It will be the Brewers at the Reds, Astros, and the Rays, also getting away around 5:10 this evening. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome to a Thursday afternoon edition of Wyoming Sports Talk Today as we're keeping up on the Rocks and the Giants. Giants looking for the sweep, but here's the way Bochy rolls. You know, he's got Posey.
Don't get into the Rockies just yet because we haven't specified of what's special. If you are not following us on social media, things are going to be different today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's not a normal Wyoming Sports Talk today, clearly, if you would have read any of my posts, but obviously you did not.
Now, you don't want to go there. You saw what I was doing, so don't go there.
You were just writing on paper. Anyways, again, it is a special Thursday edition of Wyoming Sports Talk today. It's a throwback edition with Wyoming Sports Talk today of what we're going to do is something unique. We're going to replay a few past interviews that we have done here on the show to get you ready for the football season. What are you looking at? That's right. Go back to doing whatever you're doing.
So, see you bye.
What?
See you bye.
Yeah, it ain't working like that because, again, we will talk about the Rockies and Giants from last night. And, again, also to keep you updated on what's going on with them. Again, more NBA news and notes, especially with free agency as we're learning more pieces, at least new pieces now announcing free agency or opting out of contracts. So, again, we'll talk more about that. But, again, for the majority of today, we will preview some old interviews that we have done to get you ready for football. Like, for instance, again, talked to an old pal of ours, Dave Weinberg. Talked to him, at least the interview was with him after the Super Bowl win of the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, too, we will hear comments from head coach Craig Bull of the Wyoming Cowboys. Let's see, also, too, Mike Apodaca. We'll keep it on the local side, the brand new head coach for Cheyenne Central. And then also, too, Sal Capaccio out of Buffalo. He'll, at least, again, the interview we had with him, getting the Josh Allen update of what at least he's kind of previewing the Bill season and what's going to happen with Josh Allen. So, again, we'll have those 4 interviews for you throughout the 2 hours today. But, again, we also will talk about Rockies and a few other things as well.
And we're going to do the Rockies right now and the Giants. As I told Nick before we got on the air, I said there's been 6 runs total scored in the first 2 games. Give last night's pitchers, Freeland, who, again, has an ERA in the 3s, dropped it down to 3.2, and Mad Bum threw excellent last night, too, as well.
Before you move on, I got at least a little audio clip here as well, too, from last night that I think folks should listen to.
I hope it's from John Miller.
It's a mixture of both.
Okay.
High drive. Right field.
Wayne Piper with the call.
And this game is over.
The ball game is over. And Brandon Crawford has defeated the wind in right field. And the Giants come out of the dugout to jump on the back of their teammate Brandon Crawford, who goes deep against the left-hander who had just been brought into the game to face him. And Crawford launches a soaring shot, and the Giants have won this game, a classic 1-0 over the Colorado Rockies.
The one thing that John didn't say, because he wasn't sure last night with the wind blowing in off the peninsula there, and usually when there's a home run, John Miller will go, adios pelota. He wasn't sure last night because that one.
He mostly does that with the international superstars.
But he was waiting, though, because the wind was – he wasn't sure. The ball was hit well.
Well, and again, you got to fight that tall, at least, facade there in right field of AT&T. And
there
again,
was
usually
a jet stream last night.
And usually it dinks off that kind of, at least, overhang there, again, where it'll jump back into AT&T Park. But no, it was a walk-off home run for Brandon Crawford, and continues the woes for the Colorado Rockies at this point in time. Again, Giants have the best home record right now at this point in all of the National League, which is, again, very surprising for this team as everyone kind of wrote them off, or at least did anticipate them to be where they are right now. But, again, right now the Giants rolling. The Rockies struggling continues. And, again, struggling on at least on a road trip where, guess what, they've done well for themselves on the road, but can't get it done right now, especially against opponents in your own division. And, again, a series that you said is, at least at this point, a must-win.
Well, and here's the deal right now. John Gray, who they were hoping for a good outing by Gray, not going to happen. He
already allowed 1 home run.
Well, he's dismissed after 4 innings. And, matter of fact, he gave up 2 hits to open up the bottom of the 5th inning. So he's being replaced now by Chris Russin, who I will say has pitched well at AT&T through the years. The southpaw is in there right now. He'll be facing McCutcheon when they get back to regular play. But on the other side, Chris Stratton for the Giants did not pitch a masterpiece as well. 4 innings of work, and he gave up 5 runs on 8 hits, all earned. Block is in right now. I think the kid from Colorado, right? Block's from Colorado. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
So anyway, speaking of Colorado kids, Freeland last night, And Mad Bum, they locked horns. I thought that was again, I'm the guy who likes to watch a 1-0 game. I like pitchers' duels.
It's all right.
Well, Mad Bum was actually going through a perfect game until Cargo broke it up. And then, next thing you know, he's got the bags full, and then he strikes out Freeland to get out of the jam.
Again, Bumgarner looked fine last night. There's no issues.
Both him and Freeland actually pitched well. You got to give both their dues.
Sure. But again, I'll give more dues to Bumgarner again, where he's getting back into his old form again, coming off that injury. But again, now with his fourth start, again, getting back into the old Bumgarner, that ace role that he is, and especially with it being at home, again, definitely benefited him. And again, showed that, hey, can still shut you out, Rockies. You got this powerful offense. You still can't get it done. Where you thought, again, yesterday would be kind of that hit fest or at least a monster scoring, at least game. You said that at one point in time, so don't look at me cross-eyed like you are.
I expected a pitcher's duel yesterday.
You said at one point in time you anticipated runs were going to be scored, where, again, it was going to be opposite. So, again, right now for the Giants, they are continuing on rolling again, winning the last 7
runs for today.
Shut up. Again, I'll go back to the tape of yesterday. I know what you said.
Okay. Well, let me say this. Let me say this, though. Mad Bum almost made one mistake last night, and it was by about 6-7 inches foul that Arenado's home run was foul last night. But he did connect today. Nolan went yard for his 9th of the season. Brandon Belt has also gone yard for the Giants. So they are locked up in a 5-5 tie. Right now, looks like for the Giants that, Brandon Crawford now has stepped up to the plate for San Francisco. He will be facing Russin, left-on-left situation. So we'll keep you updated on that contest.
Well, we won't update you until the top of the hour of next hour because, again, we got a few interviews to get back to on our special edition of Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again,
can we make the one announcement out of UW?
How about let's do that next hour, again, where it's going to be a shortened show, at least for us live on air, because, again, I got some lengthy interviews here, again, with a 15
I do want to say this,
15.
though. I do want to say one sad thing, though. The wife of Denver Broncos owner Pat Bowlen has announced, Annabelle Bowlen, who is now the matriarch of the family, obviously, she has announced that she is suffering through Alzheimer's, and she made the announcement to make everyone aware of this horrible disease. The team was placed into trust when Pat Bowlen stepped down in 2014 because of his Alzheimer's. The trust is overseen by 3 people, including team president and CEO Joe Ellis. Unfortunately, no members of the Bowlen family, like Bowlen's daughter, can't take over the ball club right now. They basically nixed her from taking over. But anyway, Pat Bowlen's wife, Annabelle Bowlen, announcing that she has Alzheimer's too. All right, as Nick said, it's a Throwback Thursday. I turn the microphone over to him.
Turn it over to me. Again, I've already explained it. I don't know why you can't handle it.
Well, you're going to tell us who we're going to talk. Who's our first interview?
Well, our first interview, at least as I mentioned before, if you clean out those ears, again, our first interview will be with Dave Weinberg, again, Philadelphia Eagles insider that we talked with about earlier, again, just after the Super Bowl victory for the Eagles, so we'll listen to that. Again, as the theme of today is throwback interviews that we've had here on Wyoming Sports Talk today to get you ready for football season coming up very quickly. And then right after that, we'll keep it with the interviews. We'll go to Mike Apodaca, the new head coach for the Cheyenne Central Indians, as he is preparing to take over the reins for his first time with the Central Indians. We'll get at least listen to his thoughts as we talk with him. I do believe back all the way in May. So those are the 2 interviews to look forward to wrap up here the first hour here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. You got anything else to say?
No. Let's listen to those interviews. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. I want to thank Cheyenne for helping us grow during our first year of business. We have over 5,000 new customers in our database in just 13 months. Our customers love our low prices, free ice, 2% credit for future purchases, and some really friendly service. And we always have 16 weekly specials on beer, wine, and liquor. We ask you to compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 95 and winds out the southwest at 10 to 15. And tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 56 and winds out the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 86. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 51.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We are going to head right to the telephone. And hey, who are we talking to?
Yeah, it's Dave Weinberg. How are you?
Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti as we are here to talk to the Philadelphia Eagles insider for the Press of Atlantic City. All right, Dave, first and foremost, from let's take your press credential away from you as a Eagles fan, besides singing the fight song to us here, your emotions today, the day after.
Still in shock a little bit. But, yeah, that was just an incredible game, and it was just a fantastic event just to be a part of, just to be there to see the Eagles finally, come home with a trophy after 57 years. It was just an amazing atmosphere.
Now, I guess my question would be to you, were you on the field during the ceremonies? Did they allow you to be on the field with your credentials?
No, not for me. Well, I think you were allowed to, but I was so busy writing my stories that I didn't get a chance to get down there. But, I like everybody else, I certainly watched it.
Now, did you get a chance to go into the locker room after?
Oh, yes, I did. Yep. And, it was a pretty emotional scene. They were, tears were shed, a lot of hugs, and, it's been a long time coming for this franchise, as you probably know. I mean, it's been since 1960 since they've won a title, and, all the emotions were spilling out just for the players, the coaches, the parents of the people, their family, and all the Eagles fans for that have been waiting just so long for this to happen.
One emotion that I don't mean to interrupt you here.
Oh, no, you're good.
But the one emotion I would love to see, and they didn't show him. They showed him earlier in the broadcast. The longest living Eagle fan. Well, I think since 1932, he'd been a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. So that puts him up there in age. So I was wondering why they didn't get a photo of that guy, because he must have been just on his knees and looking up to the sky, saying thank you, and I've lived a full life.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you actually how many people have texted me or called me or emailed me saying that now they can die a happy person just because the Eagles won. But they're in their 50s, so I think they got to wait a little while. But I actually did a column on Sunday about some people who lost family members who passed away, had tickets since like the 1950s and 60s, and they died before they could actually see something like this. And so there was a lot of tears shed, like I said, not only for the people that were here to witness it, but just for the people that weren't around to see it.
I think of the Chuck Bednarik and Tommy McDonald, and then I go even to Norm Snead. Roman Gabriel was there. You look at other blasts from the past, Ron Jaworski, Harold Carmichael. The list goes on and on of those that never got to experience what these guys in 2018 are experiencing right now. And again, too, even being the insider for the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, it's just got to warm your heart all over. I mean, and again, too, Dave, even though we don't play the game, but you feel like you've been a part of it for years and years and years, and watching it from the good, the bad, and the ugly to where it's at now.
Yeah, this is my 25th year covering the Eagles for the Press of Atlantic City, and I've been to one other Super Bowl in 2004 that didn't work out, and I got to admit, when Tom Brady got the ball back with about 2 minutes and some seconds left, I thought that he was going to do it again because he's done it so many times, and I just thought the Eagles were going to get their hearts broken once more. But Brandon Graham got in there, got his hand on the ball, knocked it loose. Derek Barnett recovers it, and then. And even at the end of the game with the Hail Mary, you're thinking, oh, geez, Rob Gronkowski's going to catch it. But for once, good fortune was smiling down on the Eagles.
I thought Amendola was going to catch it there for a minute. You look back at yesterday's game, and again, the Eagles are a team that is always known for its defense. Well, we can chuck that out the window. New England boasts somewhat of a defense.
I was going to say, you toss in the defense at least, again, as Dave alluded to, that last huge play. Right. Again, that was the clutch moment. But
you check out defenses yesterday, and if you were an offensive fan, you had to love yesterday's game.
Yeah, there was one punt the entire game, and that was by the Eagles. And, yeah, they just went up and down the field. I mean, if you're a fan of offensive football, like you said, that was a spectacular game to watch. It was just, two offenses slugging it out, and the Eagles were able to just land one more punch than the Patriots were.
I am surprised, and again, I had no dog in the hunt in this one, but I enjoyed the football game, and if New England won, great, terrific. Philadelphia won, great, terrific. I'm just shocked, according to the early Nielsen's, that only 104 million were watching last night's game, but I'm sure everybody in Philadelphia was watching, right?
Yeah, and there were a huge amount of Eagles fans at the stadium. I was shocked that there were that many. They pretty much took over the whole thing. They probably outnumbered the Patriots 3-1. And but you're right, boy. When and I hate to see it, but it happens all the time. The Eagles win, fans go nuts. They start burning stuff and looting and all that other stuff, which you never want to see. But it was a wild celebration from what I understand, and I'm guessing that the parade on Thursday is going to be just as big.
Tell us, and again, last time we talked to you, you were getting ready to embark to head to Minneapolis. Did the Twin Cities, did they do it good? Did they do the Super Bowl 52 justice?
Yeah, I can't say enough about the people here. They were just enormously supportive, helpful, warm, friendly. They really went above and beyond, the Super Bowl committee as well. But not just them, just the everyday people that in the restaurants and bars and stuff. They were just so helpful and so friendly. It was really nice to see. I mean, I can't say much about the weather. It's like 8 degrees here today, I think. But that's tough to get used to. But I can't say enough about the way that the city, they represented themselves very well.
See, I think in Minneapolis, as opposed to most other places, the cold there is really cold. So I don't know.
Who cares what was? It was cold on the outside, but inside, I think what they were saying, it was a nice 70 inside U.S. Bank. So
yeah, what did you think of that stadium?
Yeah, inside the dome was nice, but I I just have a hard time understanding why they put Super Bowls in cold weather cities. I mean, because before the game, there's so much that fans want to do and experience, and it's really tough when you're fighting frostbite.
Hey, let's go back to prior to the game and the other part of the Super Bowl experience. And again, from our standpoint, from the media standpoint, even though it's a lot of work, but you get to do a lot of things, especially chatting with the ball players, getting the stories behind the stories. But a lot of that was kind of quiet. I actually felt Super Bowl 52 was really quiet. There was nothing really big that came out that was like, wow, we should tune in because of this. But, tell us a little bit about your experience there with all the interviews and everything that went on.
Yeah, it was pretty calm from the Patriots standpoint, and I guess that's to be understood considering they've been here so often. This is more, just another day at the office for them. But the Eagles were, there wasn't any huge controversies or anything, but they were very confident, maybe bordering on arrogant kind of group all week. I mean, Lane Johnson specifically, had some things to say about pretty boy Tom Brady, and there were some other statements made here and there, but they were very, very confident, and it really showed on the field too, I think, yesterday.
Dave Weinberg, Philadelphia Eagles insider for the Press of Atlantic City. Dave, we were sitting here today, and I'm sure everybody that's an armchair quarterback is speculating, what's next for Nick Foles?
That's a good question.
That's why I'm asking you, pal.
Yeah, you have to think that he's coming back, but Doug Peterson made it very clear this is Carson Wentz's team, and Nick knows that. He's Nick's under contract for one more year, so there's no other option as far as free agency goes yet. But I got to think if the Eagles get bowled over with an offer, they'd be crazy not to trade him. However, there's no guarantee that Carson's going to be ready for the beginning of the year. So do you want to put that offense in Nate Sudfeld's hands, or do you want the Super Bowl MVP to take over for first month or so? So it's a dilemma that it's a good problem to have though when you got arguably he was having an MVP type season before he got hurt, and then he got the Super Bowl MVP backing him up. It's not a bad problem to have.
So, in addition to Nick Foles, let's talk about Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, he's had the opportunity to put this team together, hold on to this franchise. Right now, I would think he's pretty revered with all of his, gutsy moves that he made over the last couple of seasons building this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a credit, I think, to Howie Roseman. He's the one who made him and Joe Douglas, the pro personnel director. They made most of the moves, brought in guys like LeGarrette Blount and Alshon Jeffrey, Jay Ajayi, and, drafted Derek Barnett and some guys in the draft. So, but Jeffrey, to his credit, he made a major mistake by banishing Howie and giving Chip Kelly full control over personnel a couple of years ago. That was a disastrous result. And to Jeffrey's credit, he put Howie back in charge, and they reaped the benefits of it this year.
Looking ahead towards the season, because I'm sure one from your standpoint, even though it's an emotionally draining business, especially our business and getting all these stories out, but then you sit there and you go, gosh, I can't wait for summer camp in July. Do you stamp the Eagles again? I mean, it looks like this is pretty much a team that's intact, that they, again, will vie for the East, and what the heck? Why, if New England can do it, why can't the Eagles, right?
Yeah, I mean, you never know, of course, but the Eagles seem to be pretty well set up for the future. They've got all their key players under contract for a while, but, I think they kind of caught lightning in a bottle a little bit this year with, all the injuries, but they were, able to recover from all of them. But now they got, I don't know if they can do that again. That seemed like a really special circumstance, but as long as you have, Carson Wentz healthy, you got arguably the best offensive line in the league now. Defensive line is great. Defense as a whole is solid. There's no reason to think that they can't contend again.
Final thought from me, and again, too, as we are in the business of sports reporting, and you've done this for a long time, not your first rodeo, but I want you to be honest with me. because I know how it was when my 49ers won their first Super Bowl. You sat there, you watched the clock tick down to 3 zeros. Did you get that little lump in your throat, that, a little bit of the misty eye right there, that your team has finally won a Super Bowl?
Honestly, no, I didn't.
Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me.
No, I mean, I was really happy for the players. I was really happy for the fans. But I was just so caught up in making deadline that, I didn't really have a chance to really drink it all in. I mean, I tried to, but I just had so much stuff that I had to get done, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to do it. That I was really happy for them, but I just didn't have time to get that emotional about it.
Did you celebrate in any way when you were in the locker room? Champagne? Did you get like a splash of it and just lick it off your cheek or something? Anything at all to celebrate?
No, I had some coffee and a bottle of water, I think, on the bus ride back to the hotel, and by then I was too tired. I just said that I might have a shot of Patron tonight, though.
Geez, Dave, you're about as excited as watching paint dry. I mean, what's gonna happen at the parade? What are you gonna sit there? You're gonna write about? Well, I talked to 8 people. You're gonna get excited for the parade, aren't you?
Oh, sure. And I mean, the media party was really fun earlier in the week. I had a really good time there, and I hate to say that I'm spoiled, but I've had the good fortune of being at so many top events, and I was at the NASCAR championships a couple of months ago when one of our local drivers won the whole thing, and he was actually at the stadium yesterday, as a matter of fact. I've been to World Championship fights. I've been to the Indianapolis 500. I've been to Olympic trials. And it kind of all runs together after a while. But I try my best to make the most out of every situation, and I'm sure it'll hit me maybe in a day or two, and then I'll be able to really reflect on just what this means for the franchise and for everybody that's associated with it.
Well, Dave, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and again, too, hopefully that excitement's going to kick in soon, because again, it's you never know when it's going to happen again. And for the Eagles, they've been there 3 times, and the third time was a charm. So congratulations to them. And again, think about it. They have not won a football championship since 1960. And this one is the big prize, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Congratulations to you having a fun time over there in Minneapolis. And we appreciate you joining us today on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Oh, anytime. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed you having me, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe we'll talk next year's Super Bowl.
And I'll try to be more excited.
Okay, sounds good. All right, take care, Dave.
Okay,
bye-bye. Dave Weinberg joined us, Philadelphia Eagles insider for the Press of Atlantic City.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
All right, good half of football, boys. Now, good is good, but we can always be better. Look at Taco John's. They took those tasty little potato lays and loaded them up with bacon and ranch and all kinds of good stuff. They made something good even better.
Taco John's new loaded potato olays are loaded with craveable toppings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even dessert.
So olay the day, boys, and play like you're making loaded potato lays.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
For 56 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYLY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
According to the latest Rate Watch report, First Year Bank offers the highest annual percentage yield in the Cheyenne market for 12, 18, 24, 36, 48, and 60-month CDs. Their friendly staff is ready to answer any questions and help you open or renew your certificate of deposit. Give Carol, Caitlin, or Deb a call today at 307-632-3500. First Tier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 95 and winds of the southwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 56 and winds of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 86. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 51.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on the show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back Monday afternoon, a wet Monday afternoon on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti. We open up the phone line to our first guest. And our new head coach for the Cheyenne Central Indians, and it's interesting.
We finally, after months of anticipation, finally now know who will be leading the Central Indians on the football field.
Well, this is interesting, too, because you weren't even born when I was calling this championship. I'm probably one of the few guys in this town that actually called that championship game back in 1988. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. I think, wasn't Jim McLeod still the head coach, and along with Lou Roney?
Yep, Jim was the head, and then Coach Roney took over, I think, a couple of years after. Yep.
See, I am an old fart. I've been around for a long time. Anyway, we like to welcome Mike Apodaca, who is now the new Central head coach. And again, too, it's not like you have been dormant for a while. You've been doing this coaching thing, but boy, the Central job came up, and I'm sure you had your phone and resume in hand, right?
I did, actually. It was something that 4 years ago I was very intrigued by, and just timing wasn't good. I was getting some kids done with high school itself, and so without a doubt, when it came up this time, I knew that I was going to put my hat in the ring and see where it took me. So really excited about the opportunity.
And I wasn't kidding about with Coach McLeod and Coach Roney, but I look back, my 40-plus years in the business, and I've taken away some good positives, from people that were mentors to me. Did you learn anything from, I'll use those two coaches as an example, as you worked your way up through the pipeline to become a head coach? Did you use some of those philosophies as you took over the head man?
It's funny. The one probably, if I could say a couple. One would not be offensively. We used to run the tee back in those days, and I don't do much of that anymore. But
nobody does anymore.
Exactly. In the state of Wyoming, I used to tease people all the time. In the state of Wyoming in the '80s, that's all it was. But no, we defense was kind of what I hung my hat on, and so just the physicalityness of that they brought, and Coach Stowe back in the day was my linebackers coach. So without a doubt, that carried me for a long time. But more importantly, what I'd say I took is just how much football emulates life, and they taught me that then, and how to be a good person, and when you're a good person, good things happen, and those sort of things. Honestly, those are the things. I was just ironically last night reading a letter that Coach McLeod sent me after we won our state title game in 2012 here. And boy, it just it's by my bed. It stays there. I don't always get to it, but obviously this was a time to reflect on it. And in that he talked about that. And so what I just pulled from them was the tradition and to be proud of where you're from, and
and be a good person. And those things are the things that honestly probably, I got more from them than anything else.
I'm excited about this hire, too, because, again, talk about tradition. And when I got here in '86 and was working at another radio station, that's all I heard about was Cheyenne Central football. And then when I started broadcasting in '87 and watching, I was traveling all over the place back in the day. And that run that Central had, being in the championship game and winning, and then, of course, being dethroned by Sheridan. I do believe that was 1990, if I'm not mistaken. But, if you were going to win a football championship, you had to go through Cheyenne Central. And is this something that you're going to try to revive with that football program, bring back that winning tradition?
When you talk about it, literally I'm getting chills here because, absolutely. The chance to go to your alma mater is just such a special thing. But I want to give kids there the opportunities that I had to believe in something. Wyoming, I don't need to tell you guys, but it's just such a special place. And I've told people, I left Wyoming, but Wyoming never left me. And so I'm just really excited about bringing that, tradition and proudness of being from Cheyenne and being a Cheyenne Central Indian and being from Wyoming. I'm excited to get back to that piece of it and absolutely start hopefully, taking that level of tradition back.
Well, like you mentioned, Coach, again, you're a alum of Cheyenne Central, but also once you graduated, you did move on to other things again with college, and at least now where you're at a stint down in Longmont, Colorado. But give us at least folks listening right now, kind of resume of what you did after your years at Cheyenne Central that kind of led you up to where you are now.
I did get a chance to go and walk on at the University of Wyoming. I was there for a year and just kind of realized that I needed to take a different path, kind of fluttered around a couple other programs and finally landed at the University of Sioux Falls, which was called Sioux Falls College at the time, and did that. And honestly, my college career, I played football for 4 years at college, but through some injuries, this, that, and the other, it didn't look like what high school did. And so I moved on, got my degree there, and actually went into kind of the exercise world and kind of bounced around. Honestly, I got started in the high school football scene as a high school official down here in Colorado. And the main reason is because back in the 80s, all of my coaches were teachers. And I didn't think you could coach unless you were a teacher, to be quite honest with you. And ran into some people here in Longmont. They had a transition in a coaching staff here at Longmont High School. And so they asked me if I'd be interested. I did. And then the next year, this name I think will ring a bell to you guys, is John Scott from, at that time, Gillette High School, actually opened our high school at Silver Creek High School. He was the first head coach here. And that Wyoming connection, brought me to there. And then he left after 2 years to go to Black Hills State. And I was fortunate to get the opportunity to take the head job and have been here ever since.
Of course, Longmont plays a division up, if I'm not mistaken, right? They're 4 or 5A now?
We're 4, yeah. Most of our schools here in this district are, 3A or 4A.
Right. So you're in the 3A, but I was going to say it's just as tough as the 4A, and again too, having the opportunity calling football games down in Sterling back in the early '80s. Again, you play some quality programs throughout the course of the year.
No, without a doubt. And, I'd really liken it, to be honest with you. I'd liken our conference to what I feel like will be Wyoming football, because our student population in what we've been playing in is about 800 to 1,200-ish, and, maybe 1,300-ish, and it feels like most of the 4A conferences, Wyoming is in that number. So I think it's really, really similar. And we've been, I've had a lot of run-ins with a lot of Wyoming teams over the last 15 years, because we take a lot of trips to Shadron for camp and Black Hills. So, we've ran into the Gillettes and the Natronas and the Sheridans for years. And so I haven't been that far away and followed it just, through news outlets as well. So I think I got a pretty good idea of the level of competition. I think it'll be real similar to what we do have here.
Well, you were named head coach over the weekend on Friday. I guess the next question would be, you got an assemble of staff. And I'm sure you've got some really fine folks that have been on staff with you down in your part of the world, but you're headed back up this way. Has the phone been ringing, saying, "Hey, Coach, I'm looking to work with you again"?
I have gotten a couple calls, not necessarily directly from a coach, but kind of, hey, I got a buddy kind of stuff that, applied. But I did talk to Chad Whitworth today, our AD, and we've had 26 people apply to the open assistant coach position. So I'm really excited about that. There's that much interest. So hopefully, later today, actually, we're going to get together and see if we can kind of thumb through a little bit of that stuff, and maybe by the end of the week at least start moving on it, because that's a critical piece. And honestly, I'd like to believe that head coach is important, but honestly, the assistants are really literally the Indians of it, and so it's important that we get that assembled quickly.
As you you've been so involved in the Colorado scheme. Have you kind of kept your eye a little bit up north here and in the 4A class? Obviously, you always want to keep an eye on Cheyenne Central, but have you been keeping your eye on the teams that are pretty standout? Again, I'll use Natrona.
You can look at across the town Cheyenne East.
Cheyenne East. A couple teams. Again, East was not that big until the turn of the century. So again, have you been keeping your eye on the 4A ranks?
Absolutely, and like I indicated, I've seen a lot of those top-level teams at camp, and so I got a real good idea of what the talent level, and it is high. I think I know what I'm getting into on that end of it, and so yeah, without a doubt, I've followed the whole state. Usually get on the different YO preps and all that stuff, and watch clips of the state championship games and playoffs. So yeah, I haven't. It's always been near and dear, and it was a little bit further away, but yeah, I think have a good idea of of what's going on down there for sure.
We're talking with new Cheyenne Central head coach Mike Apodaca. Coach, as you get ready to get settled back here in the Cap City, when do you plan to gather with the young men that currently are enrolled at Cheyenne Central? That will be either seniors, underclassmen, and then obviously we now have what's different from the time when you played. We now have triads, so you would be talking to the McCormick youngsters as well. So when do you get that opportunity? I know everything's going to be just flying so fast for you in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I am not waiting for anything. I mean, right when I got the job, probably the first question is, when can we get a player-parent meeting? And we do have that set up as early as this Thursday, and so we're going to get that first initial, kind of introduction stuff out of the way, and then as soon as kind of I get the okay that we can start moving with things, we'll go. Obviously we're a little bit behind the eight ball in terms of just kind of pre-summer planning with camps, and the weight room will be a big part of it, but that's the next big step is the assistant coach piece, and then really having a calendar of attack for this summer, and hope. I don't know if the timing is going to work for a team camp yet or not, just because a lot of them happen on the early side of June, but we'll work something to make sure that we utilize those 14 days that we can have, so that we have a good start, and honestly, I'm not going to let that be a reason why we're not at least competitive early. We'll put in the time that we have to make sure those kids have a fighting chance at an offense and a defense and special teams that we can hang our hat on this year.
Coach, also too with your new Cheyenne Central Indians job, I don't know. Obviously, you're more in tune to the rules, and of course, the Wyoming High School Activity Association has their own rules. How much time will you be allowed to spend with the youngsters after school is out? I mean, can you get together with them on the weeknights and they can have a passing league? I mean, what can you do with the kids after school is out up until the first practice?
That question in a couple of ways is what I've gotten is it's similar to what we're able to in Colorado. Once they're kind of done with their school, you can't really make anything mandatory, but obviously you offer it and hope kids take advantage of it. So as early as for sure when school gets out, we'll be having, weight room starting in the mornings. And then on top of that, I'll kind of be going back and forth right now, just in terms until we can get housing stuff going. But I'll be down there at least 4 days a week and in the weight room. And then, like you said, we'll be doing, starting install of offense and 7-on-7 or any of those sorts of things. And then from what I understand, Wyoming gets like 14 days of contact that they can kind of have practices going, and if they want, they can go to a team camp, which is what we have done down here in Colorado. And that's one of the things that I do think I think it'll be beneficial is that they're just obviously with the population so much bigger in Colorado. 7-on-7 leagues are a big part of what we've done in the past, and a lot of Colorado does. And with our proximity to northern Colorado, I plan on taking full advantage of that piece of it and getting our kids that level of competition. And most importantly, a lot of them are done at some of the colleges around here, and giving those kids some exposure, for the college level if they're interested. So I'm hoping that I can bring, the 15, 20 years down here and make it a positive, to allow some of our kids there some opportunities at the next level and just maybe some extra competition that maybe wasn't there before.
Final thought, with your offense and defensive linemen, and blocking schemes, those are all, put together in packages, but you're skilled people. I know you probably have a good-sized playbook that you have for your teams that have been with you for, the last few years there in Longmont. But again, here with your skilled players, how much of a playbook can you install up until that first game in late August?
I feel really good about it. We're more simple than we're complex. The repetition is going to be the key. I don't think it's going to be a matter of, will they learn it? It's just going to be, the amount of repetition we get. Like anything else that you try to get good at, repetition is the key. So we'll kind of just take it in with how much access I have to them based off some, kids playing post-six baseball and working with Coach Lane in basketball. And, those dynamics that all schools have. And we'll be behind the eight ball a little bit. But like I said, we won't let it be an excuse. And we'll put in what they're comfortable doing. And either way, it'll be enough to, to make sure that we can line up and look like a football team for sure.
All righty, Coach. We're looking forward to working with you this season here over in 1480 K-Ray, and congratulations on the new gig. And Cheyenne Central football looks like it could be back to its winning ways again.
Appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate your time, and look forward to coming back.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Well, after a fun hour of hour number one, where we had a chance to review and listen to some good clips that we had here on a Throwback Thursday, well, we got more headed your way in hour number two. Let's get to our sponsors once again. Without them, this show isn't possible, and we want to thank them so much again. Taco John's of Cheyenne, home of your loaded potato olays and the six-pack and a pound and Taco Tuesday, and most recently, their sirloin steak burrito. It is delicious. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your home for Jayco RVs and fifth wheels, and save up to 30% off as they're closing them out. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange. More delicious eats from Ray and Cindy's place. And again, if you are heading home, you definitely want to pick up their delicious chicken sandwiches, waffle fries, and a beverage, which will be so tasty as you get home off work tonight. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where AJ and Greg Miller and the entire staff have some good old-fashioned Kias for you to take a look at. The entire Kia family on the lot right now, waiting for your test drive and your approval. And, of course, they'll do the paperwork, and then you take it home. It's a pretty simple drill. Platte Valley Bank with 2 banking locations. Check out the original location on Vanda High, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always, as well over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body has 2 locations. The Auto Glass and Detail Center is not clean until it's Lennox clean over on Pershing Boulevard, and the Main Repair Center over on Dunn Avenue. Key people of Cheyenne, Rachel is the key contact person. 414-0074. Then she'll assign her cleaning crew to come over to your place and clean it so you don't have to. First Year Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Right across the street is Mondello's Pizzeria. Now over at First Year Bank, they're open Monday through Friday. Mondello's, they're 7 days a week. Delicious Paisan cuisine, whether it's pizza, strombolis, or you go with their calzones or their delicious sandwiches on homemade fresh bread daily over at Mondello's Pizzeria. The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Give Tim a call at 635-4592. Mars Plumbing and Heating, looking for you to give them a call or stop on by 1515 Logan Avenue and talk to them about your air conditioning unit. Yeah, they'll take care of that for you. Lincoln Way Liquors. Make sure you pick up a cold one on the ride home tonight. Don't pop it open until you get home at 2825 East Lincoln Way, and check out everything that John has over at Lincoln Way Liquor. And we get things going underway here in hour number 2. We'll go back to our scoreboard and let's update you on what's going on with baseball and other goodies around our region and across the nation. What's happening?
Well, on my side, we'll keep it local here with the Cheyenne Mustangs as they got 2 victories today. We'll start with game 1 at the Loveland Aces. They took on them and got the 10-0 victory. Game number 2 just wrapped up against the Slammers down in Denver, Colorado, as they are competing in the 4th of July Wood Bat Shootout right now. The Cheyenne Mustangs did defeat the Slammers 12-3, so right now the Cheyenne Mustangs 37-2 overall. With the Cheyenne Extreme, they were in action earlier this morning. They took on the Texas Bombers out of Fort Worth, Texas. They lost, however, 6-5. They will have another game coming up later today against the Alaska Arctic Heat as they are competing in the Sparkler Tournament down in Denver, Colorado. Also in Denver, Colorado, the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers were in action earlier today. They took on the Parker Lightning. They got a 4-1 victory, and they will take on the Colorado Aces later today about 6 o'clock down in Denver, Colorado. For the Cheyenne Post Sixers, after today's earlier victory, they are 34-10-0. College baseball action for tonight. Game 3 as it's tied 1-1 between Oregon State and Arkansas after Oregon State comes from behind in the 9th inning yesterday to win 5-3, so it is winner take all tonight on ESPN2. 4:30 p.m. is when you can watch that contest. Again, winner take all between Arkansas and Oregon State.
We go to the majors where we have some games in progress. They're into the bottom of the 11th inning at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. The Pale Hose and the Twins knotted up at 1 apiece. In the bottom of the 10th inning right now, Mariners are leading the Orioles at Camden Yards 4-2. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Cubs are punishing the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine 11-3. Top of the 8th inning, Rockies scratched out a couple of runs since we've last talked to you. The Giants came up with one in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 7-6 in San Francisco. Rockies leading the Giants. Finals, Diamondbacks have blanked the Marlins 4-0. The Athletics with a 4-game sweep of the Motor City Kitties of Detroit. 4-2 winners today at Comerica. Games getting underway when we exit. It will be the Angels at the Bo Sox, Nats at the Phillies, Brewers and the Reds, and the Astros will be at the Trop taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. It is hour number 2, and Nick has dubbed today, well, every Thursday is always a throwback Thursday, but we're doing something a little bit different.
I try to change up the pace again,
Yeah.
bring back some old interviews as we have quite a lengthy, at least kind of vault of previous interviews. So again, as a Throwback Thursday special, again, why not dig up and get you all ready for the football season? Again, as we heard earlier from Dave Weinberg, he was the Philadelphia Eagles insider just after they won the Super Bowl this year. Also, too, we just heard from Coach Mike Apodaca, the new head coach over at least Cheyenne Central. So, again, get you all prepared for football coming up. Again, we might have two, might have just only one interview coming up here in the 4 o'clock hour. But it's kind of a pick and choose of, do we want to hear from Greg Bowl of what he had to say to us about about over a month ago, or maybe Sal Capaccio, the Buffalo Bills insider, of what is he seeing from Josh Allen and so far at the Bills camp in this offseason. So again, we'll talk about that because there's plenty of stuff to talk about.
Why don't we hear from both of them?
Well, they're both pretty lengthy, and it would take away from our end of the show possibly as well, because I do have a few clips for the end of the show, at least on this day.
Okay, well, I'll leave it up to you which one you want to roll. Can we do this news out of UW?
Yes, do it now.
All right, news out of UW, if you haven't heard, University of Wyoming head football coach Craig Bohl announced today that junior wide receiver Milo Hall has decided to transfer and will be leaving the University of Wyoming football team. According to the coach, Milo has been a true team player during his time here at UW, playing running back, wide receiver, and special teams for us. We wish Milo all the best in the future. Hall also announced that he would be transferring on his personal Twitter account today. He did not specify where he was planning to transfer. Nick will have more on that. Last season, Hall had 34 rushing attempts for 90 yards, caught 5 aerials for 21 yards as a running back. He also returned 2 kickoffs for 61 yards. Hall was moved from running back to wide receiver during the spring practice this year. What do you know more?
I was going to say, what the hell do you know? At least I don't know where he's transferring to, if that's what you're talking about. I don't know. But the reason, or not to speak for Milo Hall, and again, it'd be up to him, but he did put out or at least a note, kind of how they do on social media, with especially on his Twitter account, that I guess at least over the past few years it's been difficult for Milo being there, and not so much at the University of Wyoming, but with kind of personal family, at least
being away from family.
Well, and also too, again, at least he did mention as well too, he did lose an older sibling as well too. I do believe his older brother. So again, a lot of kind of family, at least, tough times for him being away from family at this point in time, at least where he's playing football with the Wyoming Cowboys. So it looks like, again, without speaking for him, but maybe it's a situation where to head back to wherever he is from, again, to be closer to family, as it's first line in his message of saying, hey, it's been a tough couple of years being away from my family, of what has just kind of happened to his family, especially with a few losses that he's had of recent years.
So a tough loss to the Wyoming Cowboys program. We wish Milo all the best, and hopefully we'll find out where he'll be able to transfer to. Because again, if I'm not mistaken, he's from Cherry Creek, right out of the metro area. I do believe that's where he's from, the Denver area. So if he's going to transfer, it'd have to be. I mean, if he's going to go back for his education, there's not much football at Metro. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then
no, I don't think Metro has it, and then CU Denver does
unless he tries to walk on at Boulder with the Buffs.
Air Force, maybe. I mean, that's kind of pushing it as far as that is.
I would think
Denver to there, but
it would be Boulder.
But you're going from University of Wyoming to Boulder. Again, you're not going to get the same, obviously, looks or at least opportunities. But again, best of luck to him, and maybe it is a situation that he does move closer in a team down there in Colorado. Who says he even continues to play football? It's more so to, maybe he just wants to continue his education, and again, does that at DU or whatever other, metro state down there in the metro area of Denver, Colorado. Again, without speaking for him, it's a situation where, it sounds like he's just going to be closer to family instead of being, out here in at least across the hill in Laramie, moving back down to the metro area to be around his family, be closer, and again continue his college career.
Well, we wish him all the best, and again to he's making it family first, and that's also
And again, no issue.
That's very admirable right there.
There's no issue with that. Again, all best of luck. There are going to be some morons out there that are going to, criticize all this. But again, Mile Hall, you do you. Again, all respect in the world of you at least transferring out and again doing what you need to do. Again, especially for your mental, stability at this point in time, especially around every loss that you've had at this point in time. So.
All right, we are going to take a timeout.
Nah, we might as well keep it here. Again, I'm going to keep it to one at least.
You're only going to do the one then, okay?
Yeah. Well, again, it's gonna spill over at least the top out. I don't want to be here past 5 o'clock.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to figure out what because again, you laid this on me here real quick today, and I'm just trying to figure out what you're wanting to do.
Sorry, I got to play everything day by day, right?
No,
I kind of do in this kind of business, right? It's kind of if I don't have anyone on, I got to come up with a better idea or something. You're not going to, so
yeah, because I own the place and I have other responsibilities, knucklehead.
I don't even want to hear it. Do I need to play the world's smallest fiddle for you? Anyways, though,
no, but I like to knock you out though, and I still can do that. I brought you to this world. I brought you to this world. I sure as hell can take you out.
You could barely punch the air. Anyways, though, as we wanted to talk about again, throw that pin. We're on Periscope.
What are we on? We're on Periscope.
Don't even make fun of me, as you again. I just listened to a few of those interviews.
I've had surgery, pal.
Oh, please, again, excuses.
I've got my excuse.
Anyways, though, as we are live video streaming on Periscope and the 1480K Ray YouTube channel, again, all our social media outlets for Wyoming Sports Talk today. Without the extended version, head on over to 1480krae.com. Go into the programming guide, search for Wyoming Sports Talk today, and at the top of that page are going to be 3 links that lead you over to the Facebook side for Wyoming Sports Talk today, the Twitter side, which I'm representing, and also to the 1480K Ray YouTube channel. So there's no reason why you can't follow us on the social media sides, where I'm giving you updates on guests, contests, giveaways, again, as we do have a few extra tickets to go see some Cheyenne Mustangs baseball throughout the season, as they are, again, getting very closely to wrapping up the regular season, and only a few more home games are left for the Mustangs over at Powers and Pioneer Park. And also, too, again, any news to pass along and everything in it, again, participation on behalf of you, the listeners, questions, comments, concerns, anything and everything. Find us over on our social media sites. I do want to talk about right now more NBA free agency.
I was going to say that's what you had mentioned last hour about NBA free agency. So we'll turn it over. Take it over.
Because, again, obviously you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I have no clue about this. I don't follow this stuff.
Did you follow PG-13 is now opted out? He's declined the option, and he is now at least – can't really say he's not going to rejoin Oklahoma City, but right now he does.
And Kawhi says, "Yeah, let's open up those talks again with the Spurs. I want to be a Laker." So
we already knew that, but now talks are getting at least adamant. They're ramping up right now with the San Antonio Spurs. 2 teams right now that are talking to each other, and it's very interesting that these two are. It's the Lakers. We knew he was interested in the Lakers, but now the new team has emerged of the Boston Celtics, possibly landing Kawhi Leonard. Now, that might be a team that could throw a wrench into this offseason right now if Boston has pieces to offer up to San Antonio, for instance, of, hey, we'll give you one Kyrie Irving, possibly. I don't think that. I think Boston, that would be a bad trade if you do something that involves Kawhi to send him to Boston, Kyrie to San Antonio. I think, sorry, Boston, you lose on the deal because, again, you know my thoughts on Kawhi Leonard, but that kind of throws a little wrench right now in the offseason of what if Kawhi does move to Boston? Is that a situation where LeBron goes, oh, well, he's now with Boston. I want to be with Kawhi. Because, again, right now, the situation with L.A., at least with the Lakers, is why LeBron wants to go there is if they were to get Kawhi, hey, pair him with him. It's a young court as well, too, around him. Hey, it could be a possible dynasty.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that Kyrie is also courting LeBron to make his way to Boston. Now, again,
and that's not even the big news. The big news, or at least I think it was Stephen A. Smith mentioned something of that he got wind that there were text conversations between KD and LeBron of possibly courting at least KD to get him down the road to Los Angeles with him in the Lakers. Again, that is all from one Stephen A. Smith and, again, reports. But, again, right now, because, again, KD as well, he is in that free agency option where he does have that ability. But, again, after the championship, he said, hey, I'm sticking with this team no matter what.
I think the deal he's looking at now with the Warriors would be like 4 years. It's either 3 or 4 years that he would stay with the Warriors.
Or either he's talking to KD of saying, hey, I want to join that Golden State team. Because, again, Golden State has been another team that has been mentioned on that LeBron watch list of, he's still going to meet with that. And it's a highly unlikely probability that LeBron is going to the Bay Area, but maybe that was that conversation.
Well, last night, and I was up late, especially after the ball game, and they had LeBron. They threw about every scenario out. They even threw Miami out, that he might head back to Miami. And it was like, no,
he wants to go back with his pal D Wade.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to start over because that's a start over team basically in Miami. Kyrie and
L.A. as well too. The Lakers have that feeling.
Well, I think right now, and it made a lot of sense. And I brought this up to you earlier in the week. Boston would be a good starting or a good stopping place for him again with the tradition.
They're already established without a LeBron. It would just elevate that team to
again. The tradition is there in the Boston Garden. So and again, the relationship. Everybody always thought there was a bad blood between Kyrie and LeBron. These two guys get along pretty good.
It was more so the ownership of the Cavaliers just going, hey, well, we want Isaiah Thomas for whatever reason, and now he's in Los Angeles. But again, it throws another monkey wrench into the whole offseason that is the NBA right now. Again, and with Kawhi, it's not a free agency option. No, it's a trade, and again, right now, I think 100% you can be confident that Kawhi will not be a San Antonio Spur
by the start of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is a definite. But where will he land? Will he go to Los Angeles? Will he be a Boston Celtic again? It's not up to Kawhi, at least, to decide of what team he's going to. It's obviously up to the Spurs of, Boston put up a lot better pieces than what LA is doing. So there you go, Kawhi. You're off there.
What are we going to get for Kawhi Leonard to get? We're talking somebody who makes about $25 million. We want $25 million in players coming back our way.
Yeah.
And this could be good for if they do, and I'll use the Lakers as an example. If they do make that trade with the Lakers, you're going to get some good upcoming young talent. That helps.
And that's what San Antonio needs.
And that would help the aging players. You still have a good
if they return.
You still have a good nucleus if they return. But the thing is, the younger players who have had time and played. And again, I would think Ball would be one of those kids that's going to be gone.
I would think so. Again, of what you're looking for, talent, or at least for value for Kawhi Leonard, absolutely. I think Lonzo Ball has to be a part of that. Or it's him or either Kyle Kuzma. Or maybe you send off both of Kyle and Lonzo to San Antonio for one Kawhi Leonard. But again, we won't know until that trade at least happens of what's going to be a part. Again, Boston could say, hey, San Antonio, take Kyrie. We'll gladly take Kawhi off your hands and a few other players. If who knows at this point in time? But it certainly, if this trade happens before LeBron makes his decision, that could certainly alter the universe that is the NBA of going, well, wow, Boston got Kawhi now, and this is just me role playing as LeBron and going, well, Boston got Kawhi now. They're already a good team. There's something that I can absolutely work with. We saw what they did in the playoffs. Ooh, they pushed my team to a Game 7. They were that close to getting it. Again, this was Boston without Kyrie, as Kyrie was injured. So, at this point in time, who knows? Again, do San Antonio go with the Boston trade? Does another team come out of the woodworks? And also, too, again, now with PG-13 going, hey, Paul George, hey, Oklahoma City, I'm opting out. That also, too, makes it another interesting
I think in Paul George's case, though, I think this is all about cash. Because, again, at OKC, they can be good. You got one bad element there in Carmelo Anthony. And
he's locked up there. He's happy in Oklahoma City. So
it's not that they can't move him either, though.
No, but
you possibly could. I mean, he would have to okay the trade.
But is Oklahoma City, that front office, are they interested at this point in time to moving Carmelo Anthony?
I think OKC found out this year that they can't budge. They can't take.
You had a big three of your own with Carmelo. As much as Carmelo is, he's nobody. But again, you had Paul George and Russell Westbrook. You had a big three there. and your team trended downwards compared to seasons of past
And
where
again,
it was basically Russell Westbrook.
What's the weakness?
It's Carmelo.
Okay,
no matter where he goes.
Then you go to look at Houston. They have their nucleus in place, and the Warriors don't have a big three. The Warriors got a big four.
Yeah.
So, again,
they can always use a big five with LeBron.
Well, I think with OKC, I think if they happen to lock Carmelo in, I think they might throw him as trade bait. But I don't think anybody wants the guy. I really don't.
It's a situation with Kenneth Faried out there in Denver. Again, there are going to be teams that want to pick him up because, again, it's pure. It is something talent. You got to look at probably a Phoenix or a Sacramento. Some of those lower down teams of like, all right, he's an established veteran. Maybe he assists this team to get us out of the basement at this point in time. Who knows? There's going to be a team out there. There's always a team that is interested in some piece that you have to offer, but again, it's just more so of what's going to be the reciprocate of going, hey, you got something I want, you're going to give me, or at least I can give you what you want. Let's make a deal.
Well, and I think when we come back on Monday, we'll have maybe somewhat of a clear picture. Again, it won't be the speculative type picture that we're giving you right now, but again, I'm thinking that for LeBron James, the wise thing for him to do would stay in the East.
Yeah.
That would be my opinion. Stay in the East. If you go to the West, then you need to go to Golden State or Houston. I know.
Yeah.
We need to go quickly to a break, but I'm just saying that would be your wise move. I think you just don't have many years left to be on a rebuilding team. I know you're going to make them a playoff.
Again, LeBron,
you're going to make them a playoff contender.
I was going to say, LeBron elevates any team. Again, he could go to Phoenix as much as they're just awful. He'll take that team into – are they winning the Pacific? No, but they're going to be –
He wants to win championships. He doesn't want to get to the playoffs and then get, ousted.
Then you probably should join one of these super teams there.
And that's what I'm thinking. I think his –
if you go to L.A., they're a playoff team, but you don't have pieces there. Again, Lonzo, if for whatever reason the Lakers keep Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma on that team along with LeBron – no, sorry, it's not enough pieces around him to elevate that into a championship, even to compete against the Warriors.
Even with Kawhi and Paul George, I wouldn't hand the pinball crown to them.
That's a frightening team.
They're a very good team, yeah, but I don't think they're a championship caliber team. No. No, I don't.
I would have to think about that one.
Hey, first off,
Kawhi, again, you don't know what you're going to get. Again, is he going to go the full season or half or one game?
Here, the Warriors, they have chemistry. Houston has a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah.
These three guys haven't played together. I don't think the chemistry will be there.
And we saw that with the Cavaliers this year. Again, you bring in a whole bunch of new pieces in there trying to work with that chemistry, and it got them to the finals, but it was a clean sweep against that team. So.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take a timeout. We have yet another Throwback Thursday headed your way.
We'll go with our guy out of Buffalo, Sal Capaccio. That's about a 20-minute length, at least, interview with him, getting some Josh Allen insider information and what he thinks on the situation with the Bills quarterback, if he's going to be a starter and everything. Again, we talked great length with Sal.
All right, we do want to update you. The bottom of the 8th inning, Rocks continue to lead the Giants 7-6. Runners at first and second for San Francisco. Adam Ottavino on the hill right now for the Rockies. Buster Posey coming in a pinch hit roll. Again, 7-6, Rockies lead. We're back after this timeout on 1480 K-Ray.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. I want to thank Cheyenne for helping us grow during our first year of business. We have over 5,000 new customers in our database in just 13 months. Our customers love our low prices, free ice, 2% credit for future purchases, and some really friendly service. And we always have 16 weekly specials on beer, wine, and liquor. We ask you to compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
People who know Mark Gordon talk about the kind of governor he'd be.
We have to have a forward thinker.
He's always been open to new ideas. He's the first person I ever saw bring a computer to a branding.
Mark Gordon, forward thinking for Wyoming.
He was an innovator and was very good at managing the budget.
Mark's experience is coming at a perfect time when we are needing fiscal responsibility.
His ability to watch our funds would do him well as governor.
Mark Gordon, Republican for governor.
Paid for by friends of Mark Gordon.
Is your free checking account no longer free? Lose those checking account fees and lose the hassle by switching to Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking and experience truly free checking. With Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking, there is no minimum balance required, unlimited check writing, no per check charge, no monthly service charge, free net banking, free e-statements, free bill pay, free mobile banking, and Platte Valley Bank customers can use their debit cards at any ATM anywhere absolutely free. So stop by Platte Valley Bank today and lose those fees with Value Checking.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 95 and winds out the southwest at 10 to 15. Then tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 56 and winds out the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 86. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 51.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We get a chance to talk now to Sal Capaccio, Buffalo Bills beat reporter and host at WGR Sports Radio 550 in Buffalo, New York. Sal, thanks for joining us here in wonderful Wyoming today.
No problem, guys. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it.
That's Wyoming, the state, not Wyoming, New York, or Michigan, or anything like that. You know, we always get confused.
Well, I think they, at least there in Buffalo, should now know the state of Wyoming because they have two products there.
They may know a little bit. So, real quick here, Sal, I always have to give grief when we get things started here. You know, you play at New Era Field, which used to be Ralph Wilson Stadium, which used to be originally Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Have we finally got that all figured out now? I know it's been a New Era since 2016. We're not going to change the name again. It's still the same stadium, right?
It's been the same stadium for 45 years, or 43 years, actually, I should say. It's going to be, I think, since they broke ground, it's about 45 years now, and lease runs for another few years. It's going to be about 50 when it's done. It's crazy, and it may still keep going after that. It's actually a very good stadium. I've been to a lot of them, guys. I travel with the team. I'm the sideline reporter on the radio network. I've been to a lot of stadiums in the NFL, and the Bills Stadium actually still is very, very good for sight lines and things like that. It is outdated in a lot of areas, the corridors, things like that. So there's a big push right now to kind of figure out what they want to do in their next step. We don't have the kind of money or people that have the kind of money or corporations here in Buffalo to do what they've done in some of these cities like Minnesota or Atlanta with PSLs. But either they're going to have to get a new stadium that's cheaper or renovate this one like you saw in Kansas City and Green Bay recently.
Well, I was going to say, with Sal, though, you're mentioning, let's see, so again, it's a little outdated, again, not a whole lot of fundraising, not a whole lot of money coming into this place. It sounds like a stadium that one Josh Allen should probably get used to, because we don't really have that, at least across the hill in Laramie with the University of Wyoming. That sounds like it should be a new home for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Allen he's already been here, obviously, in his rookie camp, his OTAs. Mini camp is next week, and I think he's already had a taste a little bit of Buffalo weather because a couple of times, even early on, had some pretty dreary and cold days when it first started. It's been warm lately. We had a couple 90 degrees lately days, but this week it's back in the 60s for the highs, so he got some big swings. But, he'll be used to when the weather comes around and the winter comes around because of what he's seen in Wyoming, and he's used to throwing in that kind of weather. The thing about the stadium here, and I think a big reason why they targeted a guy like Josh Allen is the stadium is built actually into the ground. So actually the upper deck is ground level, and when you walk in, you go below the ground. That's kind of why the stadium's actually survived for 40 years. The bones are into the ground. It's not exposed by the weather. But what that does is it creates a swirling effect with the wind. If you could imagine, the wind comes over, goes down into the stadium and swirls around, and that you need a guy who can really cut it through the wind like Josh Allen. I think that was one of the allures to Josh.
That's what I always like about watching, especially highlights from Buffalo. You want to watch those highlights in September, but come December, you don't want to be anywhere near that stadium. It gets butt ugly cold out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We had the big snowstorm game last year, which obviously everybody was watching. Buffalo as a whole has a bad reputation, but I think the games like that are few and far between. That was the worst game I'd ever been around, and I grew up here and went through the Super Bowl years and stuff like that, and that was the worst it's ever gotten. And you do have some snowstorms here once in a while. I'll be honest, guys. New York, Boston, East Coast, Philly, they've been hammered with snow much more than Buffalo the last few years. We've actually had on the lighter side of snow, but we had a cold winter this year, and we did have that. So you do get those games, and the plan for the Bills is they want to play in January. They want to get back to playoff football, and you need somebody who can play in those elements and conditions. And like I said, it's not the reason they drafted Josh Allen, but it's certainly one of the reasons if you think about how they want to construct their team.
Sal Capaccio, Buffalo Bills beat reporter, host at WGR Sports Radio 550. Sal, I'm not going to throw this out there, the second coming of Jim Kelly, because there was only one Jim Kelly, and we tried to have that out here in Denver. We were looking with Brian Greasy being the second coming of John Elway, and that never materialized. But again, from the size-wise of a Josh Allen stepping onto the turf over there at Orchard Park, a marked difference from Tyrod Taylor. So, I mean, we're looking at a situation now where a lot of, we're throwing a lot of marbles into the hat here on Josh Allen, that this could be a revival of this team?
Well, look, let me first start with this. The Bills, since Jim Kelly retired, I mean, other than Drew Bledsoe, who was more at the tail end of his career but was still a good quarterback, they have not had, obviously, a franchise quarterback. Even if you call Drew that. I mean, at the time, I don't even know if you can, but he did pretty well in the early 2000s. Since then, it's been names of Kelly Holcomb, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Brom, E.J. Manuel, Thad Lewis, Matt Castle, Jeff Toole, and then Tyrod Taylor. Think about that. I mean, the Bills have been in quarterback purgatory for a long time. They've had a couple of first-round picks in there, including J.P. Lossman and E.J. Manuel. None of them worked out. So, Bills fans are gun-shy about what could happen here. Could it be another one of those busts that sets the organization back, or could you find the next Jim Kelly? And, it's going to be on the organization to develop him the right way, and hopefully he becomes that guy. But I'm going to take you back a year ago. All right, a year ago, draft night, the Bills traded down from the 10th spot. They got an extra first-round pick this year in 2018, and Kansas City moved up and took Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people, including myself, loved Patrick Mahomes and thought he'd be a good fit in Buffalo. But I said on the radio the next morning, a year ago, I said, this is all about picking a franchise quarterback in 2018. They're going to have enough ammunition to move around the board and to get the guy they want. After that, they trade Sammy Watkins, they trade Ronald Darby, they get all these draft picks they had. And sure enough, that's what they did. They moved up with that ammunition to select Josh Allen. I mean, this is not because they suddenly like this guy and because he has a big arm at the combine. They did their research. They did their due diligence. I believe, from people I've talked to, he was probably either number one or number two on their board behind Sam Darnold. I think it was either Darnold Allen or Allen Darnold. The Bills could have had him number one on their board. I'm not sure. But they did extensive research on him going out to Wyoming. Terry Pagula, the owner, went out there. He met with him. The Bills did a lot of intel on Josh Allen before getting to this point of taking him.
I don't want to cut you off, but you mentioned, Sal, with the fan base out there in Buffalo, but is this something, are we looking at a mixed bag of where they've been through a little bit of heard of, promises of, hey, here's this quarterback we drafted, well, it turned out to be a bust? Or are the Bills fans showing a little bit of a hope right now with Josh Allen going, let's give this guy a shot and see what he's really made of? What is kind of the fan base feeling right now with Josh Allen?
Well, I'll tell you, where they feel right now as a whole is a little bit different than what they felt in the pre-draft process. And I know that people in Wyoming are going to be like, wow, are you kidding me when I say this? But this is true. Josh Allen was clearly the most polarizing and most hated quarterback in the draft process amongst most Bills fans. most Bills fans hated the idea of Josh Allen. They just did. We have a producer on our radio station that literally said, if they draft Josh Allen, I'll quit my job. He's actually leaving. Not because of that, but he is actually leaving. It was more of a joke back then. But this is not, I'm not kidding. And the reason is, I'll tell you why this happened, is because the whole accuracy thing, the completion percentage thing, it kind of grew and took on a life of its own. Here's a guy that, oh, are you kidding me? He's going to be a first-round pick. He can't complete 60% of his passes at Wyoming against that type of competition. He wasn't even the best quarterback in his conference. And you get all these people on Twitter and on social media who become draft experts. And, yeah, a lot of them do their due diligence. And I respect a lot of people who just said, I can't believe this guy's even considered a first-round pick. Well, Bills fans who are, the general fan who doesn't dig deep into it, they hear that, they see that, they want to no part of him. I said since the beginning, look, I don't think people realize how bad the team in Wyoming around Josh Allen was. I mean, you're talking about not only a team that didn't have a guy drafted. I don't think anybody's going to be in a camp from Wyoming other than Josh Allen. I could be wrong on that, but that's how poor everything was around him. I think you could almost throw away the tape and everything you see on that. Well, since they've drafted him, you know how it goes, guys. You get fans who say, well, he's my guy now, so I'll support him. Or guys that go, oh, you know what? Now I see, some really good things that the team is talking about and tweeting out. And Sal says, oh, he's looking good in OTAs. So, I think you get a sense of that. But there are still a lot of people who completely hate this draft pick.
Well, and again, Josh last year threw to receivers who couldn't catch a cold. So, I mean, it was that bad. But let me ask you this of the OTAs. And again, we talk about these quarterbacks, and he was highly touted, after last year's draft. You've seen the Bills for umpteen years now. Is he NFL ready just at the OTAs?
No. But you know what? I mean, I haven't seen anything with pads on yet. It's all in shorts. And here's the thing, guys. They have not allowed him to take any reps with first or second team offense yet. It's been strictly third team. They have a plan right now. I think that will come with a true competition at training camp. Right now, they just want him to get his feet wet. One of the things people have to remember is it's not just, hey, you're the new guy and, you're in this different surrounding on the football field, but you're talking about a kid that has to move at the age of 22, basically, all the way from Cheyenne, Wyoming. He grew up in California. He has to come to Buffalo, New York. He's got to find a house, a place to live. He's got to fit into a locker room. Everything's different around him. He's got to deal with the first-round pick stuff, all that sweet stuff that came out, all that media, the barrage. I think they want him to kind of get settled in and get his feet wet as a human being first before putting so much on his plate. So he's been taking third-team reps, and that's only because they want that to happen. I think they'll generally put more on him, and I think they'll give him a chance at training camp to see what he can do. But right now, I mean, look, from what I see, my analysis of Josh Allen so far is kind of what I saw in film when I did the pre-draft process work on him, which is his arm is so good, it's so talented, that sometimes he's just an arm thrower, and that's when he gets in trouble, which is he sees something, he doesn't set his feet, and he thinks, I can just throw it there with my arm because my arm is that good. Well, you can at Wyoming or at the whatever high school level, but at the NFL level, DBs are too good. You got to make sure the timing is perfect, and you'll get in trouble there. And I think that's how he got in trouble with his accuracy issues at Wyoming. But when he sets and he throws the ball and he knows where he wants to put it, very few people that I've seen at his age, at this stage, even in OTAs, can throw the ball the way he can.
Well, the one thing I do like about Josh Allen, and those things sometimes are never brought to the table. He's a good ad-libber. The play may be called, and again, too, he's never had the greatest lines, and he's never had the greatest blocking. But when he's a guy on natural talent and ability, he can ad-lib and he can make something out of nothing. And again, I think the Buffalo fans, if they get that opportunity, whether it's this season or next season, I think they're going to appreciate a guy who knows how to think football on his feet.
Well, I've heard from so many people how smart he is. I've had a chance to talk to Josh. He seems very thoughtful, forthright. He seems like he's a smart kid. But from football sense, I've heard a lot of how smart he is, how he can translate things from the classroom to the football field. But to your point of what you're saying, the big comparisons that we keep hearing from people are Ben Roethlisberger and Cam Newton. Now, that's a high praise, obviously, in both. But I mean the style of play. Really big guy who can move, who can ad-lib, who can run, who can do good with people falling around behind him, around him with a muddy pocket to get out of it, stuff like that. And you got to remember, where did Brandon Beane, Bills GM, and head coach Sean McDermott come from? Carolina. They drafted Cam Newton. They're used to. They had a quarterback like that who got them to a Super Bowl. So you have to think they might like a lot of those traits and say that's the kind of quarterback you need in the league. It's funny. Last year we only get to watch one day of OTA work every week. So last week it was on Thursday. and we go there, and Josh gets in with the third team. And the very first play, he ran a read option, and he took it around the right end for about 25 yards before someone touched him. He can run, too. He's a really good athlete, and I think that's very underrated.
Well, Sal, you mentioned as well, at least with Josh Allen again, trying to ease him in, going on the 13 reps, again, trying to get past everything of the social media, especially what we know of the tweets and just all that hubbubaloo that was around him pre-draft and during the draft and then after. But we do know that there is another Wyoming product out there of Eddie Yarbrough. Is there, again, as you're kind of close-knit with the team, has Eddie kind of reached out to Josh Allen out there, kind of taking him under his wing? Again, two players who've been through the ranks over across the way in Laramie, Wyoming. Have you seen that so far?
First of all, let me tell you guys, I do a TV show with Eddie Yarbrough here. He's my co-host. It's great. It's awesome. Eddie is a fantastic individual and human being. He's a really good football player. Really noticed him last year during training camp. He stood out, and he wound up making the team, which is great. And since, what's funny is even before they drafted Josh, we would ask him, how about this kid Josh Allen? We know he's in the mix as quarterbacks, and Eddie would tell us stories about how he'd be at Wyoming practice, and coaches would say, hey, don't touch that guy. See that guy? He's going to the NFL. When he would say he just walked on campus, and like how much they knew at the time. And then Eddie, when all those tweets came out and things like that, he said, if anybody has any questions about Josh Allen, I'll be the first to defend him and say it. But Josh is gonna make sure he takes care of it, and I won't need to. He said, but if anybody has anything like that, I'll make sure I do that. And he knows what kind of a teammate Josh is, especially being an African American, especially everything that came out. He vouched for Josh very well, and since then it's been smooth sailing. I think with everything going on, Josh has fit in really well. From everything I've heard, I don't think there's any issues along those lines. I think Eddie Yarbrough is a great guy to have for him on the team.
Yeah, Eddie is he was a unique player, and I'm glad you have him as a co-host because I guarantee you he's just one of those guys that is just so likable. You just want to talk to him forever and ever and ever, and not turn off the microphone.
Yeah, and how about this? We actually did because he plays the ukulele. So I'm a drummer. I have a 4-year-old son who has his own little drum set. So one day on the TV show, we brought a ukulele in for Eddie, and then I brought my son's 4-year-old little drum set, and we had Deion Dawkins, left tackle, on the show as well, and we gave him a couple of moccasins, and we all just started jamming together. It was kind of funny. So Eddie is super talented as well. That's the thing I love about him. This locker room, this culture the Bills are trying to build, they want to bring in good human beings. And believe me when I tell you that everything that happened the day before the draft with the tweets, it was a big deal here. Like, the Bills called Josh Allen at noon that day and went through every single tweet, got an explanation, wanted to make sure that they're bringing someone in here who is a good human being who will fit into what they're doing. The Bills talk a lot about their DNA. The guys who they want have the right DNA. They would not draft Josh Allen if they just felt it was because he had a big arm. They want to make sure that he's the right kind of guy and fit in their locker room. And I will tell you, Eddie Yarbrough absolutely fits in that locker room as well.
This is a very proud franchise, the Buffalo Bills. Again, first season back in 1960, the old AFL days, and a lot of great football players have passed through the Buffalo Bill ranks through the years. And again, you look at today, 2018, you look above, and there's the New England Patriots, but I guess there's hope now. There's hope that the Buffalo Bills, setting each piece in place, with your quarterback position, your running back, building your line, your defense, and what have you. The Bills are working towards, hey, you know what? New England's not going to be on top forever. It's our turn. I'm starting to see that now, especially with this operation and Sean McDermott now at the helm.
Yeah, you named the key guy, Sean McDermott. It's him and Brandon Beane together. They're young. They're energetic. You talk about a head coach who's 45, a GM who's 41, I believe, an assistant GM who's 39, and Joe Shane. They have a very young, innovative type of – think about it. Brandon Beane has made, I think, I counted 6 player trades. When do you hear of that in 1 year since he's been the Bills GM? Not just draft pick trades, like player trades. I mean, there's a guy that wants to improve the roster. He's always thinking outside the box. He's come in and he's cleaned up the salary cap. Guys, they have over $40 million in dead money this year, which is by far the most in the league, but all of it is clear next year. Next year, the Bills are going to have, and I'm not kidding you, this is close to $100 million in salary cap room. Now you think, if they believe in Josh Allen, he shows them enough, they're going to have him on a rookie contract, and they can start spending all over the place to give him weapons. And I think that could be very scary. But you're right about the Patriots. We all know they're on the top, and that's who the Bills have to gun for. And as long as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are there, it's going to be very hard. But making the playoffs last year, breaking that 17-year drought, the first time they made the playoffs this century. That was a huge, huge, huge weight lifted off everyone's back in this organization. Nobody has to talk about it anymore. You don't have to answer questions about it in the locker room anymore. It's not a distraction anymore. And I think that's the big reason why people have faith in exactly what you said, that they're heading in the right direction. And I think people expect now the Bills to at least start contending. And maybe they take a step back this year after an unexpected season last year. But I can tell you, starting in 2019, with all that cap space available and all the moves they've made, they are absolutely intending on competing for the AFC East.
Sal, we got one more question, and then we're going to let you go. I just wanted to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you. Appreciate you joining us here today. And just wanted to throw it out here with Josh Allen one last time for our Wyoming fans. Your opinion, and your opinion only. And, again, they're going to put the pads on here pretty soon. Does Josh Allen see some action this year in the National Football League and talking regular season?
Yeah, I think he does. I think what's going to happen, guys, is we're going to go to training camp. Brandon Beane has said it's going to be a three-way competition. A.J. McCarron's going to get the first reps. He's earned it in this league over Josh Allen and Nathan Peterman, and from there we'll see. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some throws where we'll see in camp and go, ooh, boy, Josh, he should have had that one. Like I've seen already in OTAs. But I'll tell you, there's also going to be throws where I'm going to go on the radio the next day and say, there's nobody who could make the throw on this team that he just made, and very few guys in this league who could do what he did. And that's going to be the allure to want to start him. I think A.J. McCarron, maybe Nathan Peterman. I think he's the underrated guy here. He's had a good little spring. They start opening day at Baltimore, but I think somewhere this season, Josh Allen becomes the starting quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
You know what? We may have where I was just kidding about Jim Kelly when we opened up. I remember a guy named Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber from the Oakland Raiders. We may have the second coming of the Mad Bomber in Buffalo this year, huh?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he certainly has an arm, guys. That's one thing that cannot be denied. I have one of the TV guys here at our Channel 4 CBS affiliate was standing next to Josh Allen when I wasn't there last Thursday, and he tweeted out a video, and he said the ball literally made a sound when it came in, and it went like that. Like, that's how hard he threw it. He said no other quarterback you could hear that, and he wasn't joking. It's crazy. Like, this kid has such an arm. It's incredible. Very few people in this league ever have had the arm he has. But they got to put it together. They got to make sure the touch passes are there and all the things that go along with playing quarterback in the NFL. And if that's the case, then the Bills are in good hands.
Sounds like they're making Josh Allen have his own mythology where fans, you need to come out and see this for real at New Era Stadium or something.
Oh, I bet you your preseason or summer camp, I bet those places are going to be just packed this year watching the Bills.
I'll be curious to see how many Wyoming fans. We know that we have a few out here who've joined the Bills Mafia. Again, we'll see how many of them make the trip out to New York.
Well, whatever it is, just make sure all the tables are locked up, okay? You guys know what happens when Bills Mafia get together with some tables and some lighter fluid or something.
Hey, Sal, thank you so much. We're going to catch up with you later on in the season. When we get going here during the National Football League, give us an update on what's happening out there.
Anytime, guys. You guys got my number. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Boys, I know you take great pride in being prairie dogs, but our mascot needs more sizzle. And what has more sizzle than Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos? So meet your new mascot, a sirloin steak burrito.
Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos are loaded with steak and bold flavors like cheesesteak, steak and potato, and steak and shrimp.
God, Wachowski, stop eating the mascot.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 95 and winds of the southwest at 10 to 15. And tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 56 and winds of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 86. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 51.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Well, it's been a fun Throwback Thursday today as we had some football in our life today, and that was a lot of fun listening to some of the old interviews. We've also been tracking the Giants and the Rockies, and
at least you have. Again, it's one game, you know.
Well, here's the deal: Adam Ottavino, again, another poor performance by him, as the Giants took a lead in the bottom of the eighth inning, 8-7. And I was telling you, I said, I would hate to be in that clubhouse. I got a feeling the clubhouse was going to implode today, especially with, the bullpen not coming through. However, in the top of the ninth inning, the Giants' bullpen actually.
So it's you to blame that the Giants are down.
Well, Dyson, no, I'm not Dyson, and he's very shaky.
No, but you jinxed it and you called it.
He's very shaky as a closer. As now we are in the bottom of the ninth inning, and being interrupted again by somebody who has no clue about anything. But again, the Giants are trailing 9-8, 2 outs. Joe Panic at the plate, 3-1 count on him. Wade Davis is on the hill for the Rocks, who got the first 2 outs. Now go ahead.
My fingers are closer to the pulse on anything than you are. Come on now. Again, you're the one who jinxed it. You have to open your big mouth and say something. And again, we could have seen a Giant sweep, and it said, no, the Rockies, I hate to be in that clubhouse. The Giants are going to win, blah, blah, blah.
Rockies have officially won the ball game as Panic makes the 3rd out. And the final score, Rockies win 9-8, a very shaky 8th inning for Adam Ottavino. He picks up the win, and Wade Davis will get the save for the Colorado Rockies, who salvage 1 out of 3. And again, after scoring 6 runs between the two teams in the first 2 games, they explode for 17 runs today at AT&T. So definitely,
again, for the Rockies, hey, at least it's something. It's better than nothing. You could have been swept on the road, but again, they still have a monstrous road trip. They still have to compete against a team. Yeah, Dodgers. They struggle against the Cubs in Chicago. I mean, they're still a quality team, but again, still a tough task against the Dodgers on the road.
They won't see Kershaw, though. Kershaw pitched today.
It doesn't matter. Again, look what happened, throughout this Giant series. Other than Bumgarner, nothing really too impressive. Again, finally got the runs on the board at least today's game. But again, you're facing against Stratton. At least as a starter, he's, nothing too special, but
again, block, both of them not.
But again, Dodgers at least higher up there on the food chain. They're in the NL West at this point in time. Rockies, again, you got one. You're limping into the series against the Dodgers. Have fun. We'll see what happens then. But again, this ship is still sinking at this point in time. Again, a team where you thought they should have taken care of, they didn't.
All right. All right, let's move on here. This is the final night of our Golden Age of Radio Theater for Monday through Thursday, and this being Thursday night. Red Skelton times 2 and Suspense Theater. Red Skelton from 8 until 9 and Suspense Theater from 9 until 10. Again, on a Throwback Thursday, we always wrap up our program.
Not always on Thursday. It's every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
we
but
do it as a
I
daily
was going
thing.
to say on a Throwback Thursday, as well as each Monday through Friday, we have our On This Date in History segment.
Mine, because I do the research, as we have 2 of them today as well. We'll go back to the year 1998 with this one. It is June 28th, the year 1998. This OMG moment happened in one of our favorite things to watch. It happened at the...
It had to be wrestling.
There you go.
WWE.
1998, King of the Ring.
King of the Ring.
Hell in a Cell. I Gave You Everything.
King of the Ring.
Here, how about I just give you the...
Oh, was that the one where Mankind... Mick Foley, Mankind, off the top of the cell.
You're talking over the clip. Why do I let you on the show? You have to hear the whole thing of JR, but yes, on this day back in history, at least in WWE history, it was Undertaker versus Mankind in the infamous Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring, where again Mankind falls all the way from the top of the cage to the floor.
Didn't he have a tooth come through his
That's when
lip?
he fell through the steel cage, at least when he went through the top of it, but it was still that same match, absolutely so. But again, that was fun. Number 2 as well, we'll go back a year before that of 1997. This, how do I word this? This participant got a mouthful in the competition that he was competing in. On this date, June 28th, 1997. Got a mouthful. He took a bite of something.
Oh, that would be Mike Tyson taking a bite out of Evander Holyfield's ear.
There you go. It was Tyson at Holyfield number 2, where, yes, the infamous biting of the ear of Holyfield with Tyson happened on this day back in 1997.
Do you have a clip?
No.
Okay.
Why would I have a clip for that?
I don't know. I thought you have a clip for everything. You work so hard, and I thought maybe...
I didn't see you bringing up any of those clips.
I didn't see you writing up any orders today either, pal.
I don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to. You just hang around for the checks, right? That's all you hang around for.
I'd like to see you do anything I've done here. Did you see the improvements I did on the visual side?
Ladies and gentlemen, this radio station would be a dead duck without the services of one Nick.
Finally, you admit it.
Yeah.
Finally, you admit it. Thank you. Where's my raise?
Your raise?
Yeah, you got nothing? It's top of the hour. I guess we should go now.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss that off
That's why
air.
I'm going to tell you there's going to be no raise. Actually, there'll be a deduction.
You see that pen in your hand? You can do something with that.
Yeah, watch this. When
I got one on my side, too. Let's wrap it up.
You shut it off.
I'll keep it on for as long as I want.
All right, we have to go. The best of the 50s and 60s headed your way right here on 1480 K-Ray. We will talk with you tomorrow from 3 until 5 with Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
This is 1480 KRAE,